Are you ready? Hey, think you could tell us what to do? You think you could tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down! Degenerate into something fool. We just got tired of doing what you're told to do. That's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down.
Welcome to Breaking the Barrier, Round 2. I am Adam Benz, alongside with my co-host, the one and only Vice Mayor of Covington, David Crosier.
Good Lord, could you been any louder?
I had to get them going.
I got a heart problem, man. You want to give me a heart attack right here on the air?
Oh, you're fine. Get over it.
Good God, man. I'm not ready for all that.
I was going to ask you how you're doing, but I guess you're not doing well now.
Let me tell you how I'm doing. I am grinning like a possum eating a sweet potato. In the mail today.
A what?
A possum. A grinning.
Eating a sweet potato?
Which part of that do you not get? The possum or the sweet potato?
The whole thing.
Jesus God. Folks, he is from above the Mason-Dixon line, so you got to forgive him. You've got to really forgive him. You got me off track. Let me tell you how excited I am. Today, in the Postal Service, I got an album that I bought off Amazon of the Statler Brothers.
Who are they? What year was this? Like the 30s?
This album was made in 1977, jackass.
Oh, I was close.
1977.
You were born in the
jackass.
30s, weren't you?
I was born in 1993.
Oh.
It makes me 25. Do the
Pretty
math.
sure you said it was 92 last week.
No, it was 92 last year. It's 93
So
this
it's the
year.
Altman brothers? That's who it was?
The Statler Brothers.
The Statler brothers.
From a guy who's so young, probably never even saw a record player outside of the one I have here in the jungle room at the paper.
I actually have 4 records, but they're all
Four whole records.
They're of the Four Seasons in Frankie Valley.
Would you get those in an antique store or something?
Yes, I did actually.
Oh,
a flea market.
Oh dear God! I was so excited because I found this album, and it smells like vinyl.
How much did you pay for it?
$1.75.
Okay, that's how much I paid for
Amazon,
mine.
on Amazon.
On Amazon. See, and then you have a Prime membership.
Yes, I do have Prime.
Free shipping.
Yes, sir.
Free
That
shipping.
came today, and I'm just waiting to get this done, and I'm going to kick you out of the jungle room here, and I'm going to put it on the turntable.
What are you going to do this show by yourself?
No, after the show, fool.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure. I was going to say.
I keep lobbing softballs here at you. You're going to have to swing at something.
I did swing.
And you missed. You missed. I am here today, and I have this week's mug of the week. It says, and you're going to take a picture of the album.
Yes, I'll take a picture of the
you'll
album.
take a picture of the album because
it'll be on the still that.
Yeah, I want people to see this awesome album. There is no bigger Statler Brothers fan out there than me.
Oh, don't worry. There'll be a picture on there.
Oh, no doubt. Probably that damn donkey again.
Oh, you're right. It'll be a donkey.
Probably, or that.
Because every time I mention your name, donkey comes.
You know, a lot of people in this town, they mention my name and think other things. So the donkey's probably the cleanest thing you could put on there.
Anyways, your coffee.
The mug of the week. Coffee makes me poop.
Coffee makes me poop.
Coffee makes me poop.
And it actually says coffee makes you poop.
A friend of the family, Nina Daniels, got that for me because she knows my penchant for coffee. And I brought this one this week because it's much bigger than the one I used last week. That way I can drink more coffee. I'm up to 4 pots now.
Today?
Today.
Good grief.
Yeah, that's why I'm bouncing, man. I've had 4 pots of coffee today, and it's the good stuff, and I don't go light on the coffee.
Hey, you know what goes good with coffee? And it's a treat that I brought you.
A donut.
Oh, not just any donut. Your favorite.
Chocolate-covered donut.
Chocolate-covered donut.
Cake donut. Kyla, you did not hear that. You did not hear that, sweetheart. Oh, dude. You are the wind beneath my wings.
It goes well with coffee.
Yes, coffee. Oh, my God.
Yeah, coffee. Excuse me.
Coffee. And I've got a stogie here. I'm ready to light up, and I'm ready to fire the show off.
The second episode of Breaking the Barrier after our first one.
No FCC violations. Marianne Byrne didn't kick us off the air.
That's a big one that we have to get through.
So she writes our paychecks. That's a great one. Checked on the Google machine here right before we started taping, and as of a few minutes ago, we had a little over 1,200 views for that. Now,
that's for the very first episode.
For the very first episode,
that was taking place last week.
We did it last Thursday, and I know, me being proud of 1,200 views, there's going to be some wise ass down in Clifton, I'm sure, who's just going to have a heyday that, only 1,200. I'm happy. I'm happy that it was 1,200.
It's the very first episode.
You know, we got a good reception for it. We got good feedback. Enjoyed doing it. I got some good comments back. A good buddy of mine, Terry McClung, with the Alleghany Highlands Economic Development Corporation. Hi, Terry. She gave me some really good feedback. We got some emails that you're going to read here later on.
And mail time.
And, you know, I'm proud. You know, I'm happy that we're doing it.
We got a big shout out from Cakes Your Way.
Yeah, we did.
Located right here on Main Street in Covington.
And then we went and got fatter by getting cookies Friday for the
and you came
104th
through.
birthday.
Yes, for the 104th birthday.
Yes, I told you I was going to get cookies. Now, I sent you to go get said cookies because it was hot that day.
I had 5 of them.
No doubt.
Yeah. I only brought back 15, but I had 5 of them.
Jeez, Fatty McFatterson. See, it was too hot. And I was not going to get out of the jungle room. The jungle room stays nice and cool.
Well, that's where we're doing the podcast every week.
Yeah, we do the podcast in the jungle room. If you have not been here, explain to them why
it's called the jungle room.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's your office at the Virginia Review, and it's literally a jungle. I mean, there's nothing but plants all over this room.
Legal
plants. Legal.
There might come a day when I can grow the wacky tobacco, but we haven't got there yet, and I don't look good in orange.
I mean, it's literally a jungle gym in here.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get lost at some point.
It's very relaxing, though.
You still got that tickle in your throat?
Oh, dude, I'm still fighting this mess. Of course, the stogie probably doesn't help.
Right.
But, you know, I tried quitting smoking one morning. I came in here about 8 o'clock, and I announced loudly, I'm quitting smoking today. By 9 o'clock, Karen Graham told me to go have a smoke.
And you did.
And I did. And, you know, I don't know why she said that. I'm such a sweetheart once again, and I'm sure you're throwing the jackass graphic up there again.
Yes.
But yeah, my first attempt at quitting smoking was not good. So, you know, I've tried Chantix, and all that did was give me messed up nightmares, which were kind of fun. I tried patches. I had like 6 of them on me at one time. I tried the gum. Nothing worked. So, you know, outside of having some kind of exorcism or something to get me off of tobacco, then y'all just got to deal with it.
I didn't know this was David Crosier Issues 101 show.
Every day of my life is a David Crosier issue. And if it's not an issue that I have, there's somebody who will make one up for me, you know?
So much for breaking the barrier.
I know, so much for breaking the barrier.
Anyways, you're enjoying yourself. That's what matters the most.
Yes, I do enjoy myself.
Let's recap last week's episode, first of all, before we go any further. Last week, the main event. If you haven't listened to the first episode of the first podcast and you're new to Breaking the Barrier, every week we're going to have what's called the main event. The whole point of the show, which is going to be a topic of choice either by myself or maybe you, the listeners, if you send us emails or comments. And where can they send those emails to, Crosier?
Website at thevirginianreview.com.
That's where you can send us...
Now, wait a minute. You're saying that I don't have a hand in the topic?
No, you do not. See, David Crosier does not have any idea whatsoever what the topic is. The whole point is to get him to be thrown off.
My mama's kind of scared about that. She sent her concerns.
But it's great, though, because, I mean, you have no idea to prep for it, and you just have to think quickly and give me your thoughts.
I can do that.
And the topic last week was about down at the Highlands Center, the new Highlands Center, a.k.a. the Mallow Mall, was the Kmart building, the old Kmart building, and if anything was going to be brought in there, or if there was any plans already in store. And of course, there are none.
No.
That you know of.
Not that I know of. Sometimes I'm the last to know, but usually I hear little kernels of things. And once again, like we said last week, that's a monstrous building.
I mean, you could break that into
God.
threes if you wanted
You'd
to.
almost have to subdivide that building, I would think, in order to get that building fully utilized. Unless you got a huge chain to come in, and even then, that's a huge, huge building.
So that's the recap of last week's episode. Go ahead, look back on our YouTube page, and as well as I mentioned, just the YouTube page, as well as Facebook, and which is going to be on the Virginia Review website as well, thevirginiareview.com.
Now, I'm going to have to make a confession.
Uh-oh.
Now, I told people last week that I'd become a twit. Remember?
Yes.
I told them I was a twit because I got on Twitter.
Yeah, you made a Twitter for the Virginia Review.
No, I made an InstaSnap.
That's what it was. Instagram.
Instagram. I'm sorry. I'm learning. See, that was my homework.
He's very social media illiterate.
While Adam was trying to come up with the topic for discussion, I was charged with social media. I probably would have been better off coming up with a topic.
You were charged with what? You get banned from social media?
I have before.
Oh yeah, because I mean that's not.
Oh, that's not.
It's actually a real thing.
Oh, that's a real thing, and I got put in Facebook police a couple of times.
Yeah, you get Facebook police, or it's just social media thrown in jail. It's social media jail they call it, where they ban you for 24, 48 hours.
And I have 2 or 3 times. Most of it revolving around my post on World Naked Gardening Day.
Oh my goodness!
What? You ought to imagine my neighbors when they see that.
Oh my Lanta. So, anyways, we do have a ton of social media now for the Virginia Review, and I know that
one of the things I have tried to do, and I have really tried to listen to you, Adam, is improve our social media footprint, I guess you'd call it. We're on Facebook. We're on InstaSnap.
That's Facebook, Instagram.
I tried one evening here in the jungle to get us on iTunes, and that's coming eventually. But I might have to get my 14-year-old in here to help me figure it out. I spent about an hour, and I was ready to throw my computer out the front window. The only thing that stopped me was I need this job, and windows are expensive.
And this is a big window.
So, I just walked away from it. I'm going to keep working at it. Hopefully here by the time you hear episode 3 next week, all those bugs will be worked out. Somebody said, and I think you got it for the mailbag later, but they like the idea of being able to download it in their car. I didn't know you could do that. I think that's wonderful. In all seriousness, we are working. I'm working. I will get my child in here to help me work on getting all the episodes, even the back ones. We're going to put everything on iTunes. I know with the podcast I listen to, when they hit, they automatically download to my phone, which is good.
So convenient.
It's so convenient. Once I figured out how to do it. It took me 2 years to realize I could play music on my phone.
Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, yeah. And I'm a fool now in Walmart going through with my little earbuds in because the chatter and the music gets on my nerves. So I got my little... And I'm dancing down the aisle to my music. Usually Elvis.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Rock on.
We do have a ton of social media now, in large part because I pushed you for it.
You pushed me for a year and a half. And
the paper did need a bit more of a social media aspect besides just the paper and besides thevirginiareview.com. Hey, we're on Facebook now, and 1,200 listeners to this podcast.
And I can't thank those 1,200 people enough. I figure about 900 of them might have been my mama and my niece. I know my niece... Get this, my niece is a senior at Lord Botetourt. And she actually listened to it while doing her homework the other day. And I asked her, I said, were you that bored? And she said she enjoyed it. So, I mean, I don't know where those 1,200 people came from.
Now, let's clarify. This isn't just 1,200 clicks. This is 1,200 unique listeners from IP addresses.
Yes.
So, I mean, we're talking about if you logged on from your phone, that's one address. You log on from a home computer, that's a second address. So this is 1,200 unique IP addresses.
It's like with the Covington Police Department recruitment video. There are like 200,000, I'm sure, views, click-throughs.
Yes.
But 199,500 were me. Because I have thoroughly enjoyed that video more than I probably should have. But Something completely different. We plugged last week. We plugged Street Scene.
Yep,
which was Saturday.
Very successful.
Oh, very successful. 260 plus vehicles, I believe, were there. This Friday, Cars Unlimited, who sponsored Street Scene, and I want to get this plug in for Cars Unlimited. Great bunch of folks. They do so much in the community. Cars Unlimited will be at Tractor Supply at the Highlands Center. I'm not allowed in Tractor Supply without a chaperone, because I love Tractor Supply.
Oh, I do too. I definitely do too.
Oh, my gosh. My wife won't let me go unless she's with me.
I bring my dogs with me.
Oh, yeah. So they walk you around.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tractor Supply, this Friday from 5 to 9, there's going to be a cruise-in. Cars Unlimited sponsors these periodically, and they're always, when they do these benefits like this, it's always to benefit somebody in the community. This time it's for Caleb Dakota Ward Jr., He's a 3-year-old little fellow with leukemia, and they're raising funds for offset the medical expenses. And there's a lot of expenses associated with not just the treatment of cancer. There's all travel and supplies, lodging, food, all that kind of stuff. And so they're going to try to help this family out. Now, if you don't have a antique vehicle, that's fine. Still come down there. If you have an antique vehicle, bring it down there. They'd love to have you. But even if you don't, go down there and look at these cars. There's really, now I don't know a muffler from an ignition switch, but I know a nice antique car when I see it. And they've got some really good ones. And even if, just go down there, and they got a bake sale. They're going to have some raffles. They're going to do 50-50s. And all the proceeds will go to the Ward family. So please, if you hear this before Friday, please go down and support that.
It's for a great cause.
Yes,
and
it is.
Certainly go on out there and show your support. And that's, again, when?
This Friday.
This Friday. And what's the date for this Friday? The 17th,
17th.
correct? August 17th. And the time?
5 to 9.
5 to 9. So that's, again, located at the Mallow Mall, a.k.a. Highlands Center.
And there will be a DJ.
Oh, a live DJ.
Now, believe it or not, Friday, I might break hibernation from the jungle and tool down there.
Did you break hibernation on Saturday?
Yes, I did. I walked around a little bit, got too hot, and went home. But I went down there and looked. It was a great time. Lots
I'm proud
of people.
of you.
I tell you what, I told you last week, this fat boy don't do heat.
He don't do walking either.
No, I don't do walking. That's why I sent you for the cookies last Friday.
That's right.
We had a great birthday celebration.
Yes, 104th birthday for the Virginia Review.
Yep, you had your cookies. Everybody else had some food from Trani's, and it was wonderful stuff.
Oh, great food from Trani's and great
always.
food from Cakes Your Way.
Oh, yeah, always.
Can you believe that we're already in the middle of August?
No, not really. It seemed like Christmas was last week. Seems like my kids just got out of school 2 weeks ago, and Christmas will be here in about 2 weeks, the way it's flying. I mean, football starts next Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
The big game.
Yeah, Alleghany versus Covington. It's going to be at Alleghany High School next Friday. That's at 7 o'clock. And, of course, Bath County, they'll be at Nelson County at 7 o'clock. Football, high school football, is back starting next Friday. And the Brackman Cup.
Yes.
You just mentioned the big game, Alleghany versus Covington.
The Brackman Cup. You know, I don't want to step on any toes, but here we go.
Oh, no, he's going to break the barrier.
No, I'm happy for the kids. I'm happy that the kids get a chance to play each other. It's not like what it was when I was in school. Before social media and that type of thing, I didn't associate with a lot of people from Alleghany. Alleghany didn't associate with a lot of people from Covington, and it was a true rivalry then. But, you know, my thing is, I hope the kids have a good time, play hard, enjoy themselves, and whoever comes out on top's great.
Last year was a thriller, actually, here at Covington. Covington having a solid lead at one point on Alleghany, and Alleghany needing a huge rally late in the game to come from behind and win that game.
These kids work so hard. And I know with Covington being a small school, they get kind of beaten up sometimes by the so-called armchair quarterbacks that might have played 30 years ago and think they know everything. They try hard. Cut them some slack. These kids are trying hard. Their coaches are trying hard, and I just hope for a good game.
I'm definitely gonna be missing being up in the press box calling the games.
They won't miss you though.
Whoa!
I broke a barrier. They won't miss you.
Whoa! So we've already talked about the recap from last week's episode. Go ahead, look that up on our Facebook page, Virginia Review, and re-listen to that one if you have not listened to it. Check it out for your first time, and then come back to this episode for episode number 2 to understand exactly the whole frame of this show, Breaking the Barrier. I'm Adam Benz, alongside with my co-host, David Crosier, the one and only Vice Mayor of Covington.
The Mayor of Vice.
D.C.
The Mayor of Vice. And let me tell a little joke about that. A little story. It's a true story.
Story time!
Story time here on Breaking the Barrier. When I got elected Vice Mayor in 2015, at the church I attend, the preacher's son, little fella, probably about 8, 9 years old at the time, he came up to me and he said, "So you're the Vice Mayor?" I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "So you're the Mayor of Vice?" I said, "Do you even know what Vice is?" He said, "Yeah, hookers and drugs." I said, "Well, you've pretty well figured that one out." So I guess, I'm the Vice Mayor, the Mayor of Vice, whatever hat happens to fit at that particular time. Anywho.
I think it's now time for our first installment of Mail Time!
Mail time.
And
Did we get emails?
We got
on
emails.
On the Google machine?
No, it's not just the Google machine.
That's what I use it for.
What, email?
Yeah, Google.
Well, you have Gmail, you have Hotmail.
Really?
You never heard of those?
No, I got Gmail.
Well, you have Gmail, you have Hotmail, Yahoo Mail.
I don't care what other people have. I got Gmail.
Oh, you got Gmail. Okay, well, that is something. Okay,
so it's a Google machine.
I'm just making sure that you're not, making up names or words.
I would never make up words.
Fake book?
Well, from what I see on Facebook sometimes, that's
pretty fake.
Pretty fake.
Well, it's now mail time.
Cool.
And we had to wait till the second episode to do mail time because, well, we really
didn't have mail the first
we
time.
didn't have mail the first time because it was our first episode. So we have a total of, I think we got 7 emails.
Cool.
So this one is from.
Is any of them you can read on the air?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Okay.
This one is from Sally. Very informative, David Crosier, on the topic about the Kmart building. So,
cool.
You got a nice little plug right there nice little plug. Helen wants to know what's going on with the building down where Tractor Supply is, as there's a ton of work being done. Do you have an answer for that?
I have no idea. I haven't been down there. I went down there to the tobacco store the other day, but I don't remember seeing anything down there. I'll have to go down there and look.
No construction work?
I will have to look when I go to the Crosier on Friday.
Take a look.
Because I typically don't break hibernation until dark when I leave here tonight. But I will definitely look when I go down and see if they got the hula hooping contest down there Friday.
You're not doing the hula hoop contest.
Oh, I'll tell you what. If I do the hula hooping contest and I can get that thing videoed, it will be on episode 3.
Oh, man.
Dude.
Oh, man.
Dude, I got big hips, man. I could probably hold that thing up for a week or so.
We might get two views after that.
No, dude. There will be people watching me hula hooping.
Oh, boy. Brian says, love the show and the enthusiasm it brings. Well, thank you, Brian.
We are enthusiastic. 4 pots of coffee will do that to you.
Oh, my Lanta.
What?
Nina, are we actually getting the facts about the Mallow Mall space at the Kmart building?
Are we getting the facts?
Yeah.
It's facts as much as we know them.
Well,
I don't go making this crap up. I might be a lot of things, but I'm not a liar.
I think that's what she wants to know.
Okay, I mean, I've got a wide butt, and, there's some things I just can't pull out of it. My crystal ball's in the shop. I'll give you what I know. And if I don't know it, I'll find it out. But, who was that?
Nina. Well,
get her email address. I'm going to write her a strongly worded email back.
Hopefully that answered your question, Nina. Try to keep them calm on that one. John says, I probably have more holy underwear than both of your ages put together.
Well, we might need to start a GoFundMe account for John then to get him some drawers.
Corny Joke Tuesday.
Crappy Joke Tuesday. Thank goodness we don't do this on Thursday, because you'd want to do Crappy Joke Tuesday on the podcast. And I'm sorry, that's where I'm putting my foot down. We are not importing Crappy Joke Tuesday onto this podcast.
I probably have more holy underwear than both your ages put together.
I don't know if I would go telling folk that. Like I say, they got GoFundMe accounts for just about everything. So
Ooh.
maybe we start this poor dude a GoFundMe account. You know.
Oh man, thank you for that, John.
Well, they might have some used underwear across the street or at the Goodwill.
Again, a new listener listening in, go back to the very first episode with Crosier's holy underwear.
Holy underwear.
Corny Joke Tuesday.
Because I've got holes in my underwear older than you.
Enjoyed the first show. Can't wait for it to hit iTunes. Hey, referring back to the iTunes. It makes it easier to download and listen in the car. That is from Joe.
Listen in the car. You know, that just boggles my mind that you can do that with a car now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do that all the time with the Jim Ross Report.
Well, that explains your driving.
I have no problem by driving.
Dude, I've been behind you while you're driving.
You sure you're behind the right person?
I don't know.
See, it might not even be me.
I do a solid 20 going through town, so...
Oh, then I'm definitely not behind you.
Now, you're a Yankee driver. You don't do no
way
20.
ahead of you.
Yes, you are. I do a solid 20 no matter where I'm going. If I ever get a ticket, it's going to be for going too slow on the interstate.
Didn't you tell me a story how you went you go 55 miles on the interstate?
Yeah, safety first.
Oh, my Lanta.
And if somebody's there and I'm talking to them in the vehicle, it might go down to 35.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon. This is another email. Good afternoon. I have a great topic for David. Please ask him what the status is on the Covington Rescue Squad. Is the rescue squad going to be dissolved eventually? The part-time paid staff is doing a great job, but in my opinion, is that the AMR is a waste of money. The money going towards AMR should be going towards hiring more paid staff. In my opinion, the rescue squad has been given the opportunity since April to show that they have the commitment. They haven't shown any improvement. Ask David to shed some light on this situation.
Goodness gracious.
This person wrote from Unanimous.
You mean anonymous?
Anonymous, thank you.
Unanimous?
Anonymous.
And you talk about InstaSnap?
Yeah, this person wrote back from Anonymous. So
okay. We don't have a plan yet. I mean, that was one of those deals in April, and we can cover this. We could take a whole episode.
I mean, I'm sure this is a sensitive topic to talk about.
It's a sensitive topic. You're dealing with people with the volunteers. Yeah, there's a lot of egos in the way, but there are a lot of people who do volunteer that are out to help the community. Volunteerism is down nationwide in everything. In your civic groups, in volunteer rescue squads, everything else. But as far as Anonymous's letter, we don't know where AMR is going to fall into this yet. Our concern right now, while we come up with this plan, is that every time somebody in the city of Covington or the outlying county that we cover calls 911, they get a prompt response. That's all we care about right now. And we've had to spend a fortune to make that happen. But our residents are worth it. So, maybe that could, since you won't let me pick the topics, and I know that's probably not the main event for today, let's do an episode on that, and we'll talk about that.
I can't let you know about the main event.
See, I'm trying a backwards way, kind of like my daughter when I'm trying to get her to tell me what my Christmas present is.
Okay, we'll shed some light, and we'll let you have this as one of the main events.
Well, and the reason why I say that,
because I'm sure you have. I mean, you used to be on the.
I served 9 wonderful years on the rescue squad, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing. 9 wonderful years, and I'm a retired fireman, and I'm proud of my service with that organization.
I mean, this is why you're here. I'm the one that's just asking the questions that the people want to know. You're the one that's the answerer.
There's a lot of backstory. There's a lot of history that we need to talk about with that. We need to devote a whole episode just to that. But the short answer to Anonymous is Our big concern is to get every single call answered immediately. And since we've had the paid people and since we've had AMR on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's been going on. And we can track that through dispatch records, response times, and that type of thing.
And this one wasn't even an email. This was actually off of our Facebook Messenger.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm looking at these right now because I printed off all the messages that we got from Messenger and from our email address. Where can you email us again?
Website at thevirginianreview.com. Or you can send us a message through our Facebook
Messenger.
Facebook Messenger, Virginian Review. If you're on Instagram, that one's Virginian Review also. Go on, give us a follow. We're going to start putting some things on Instagram. We're going to tie them into Facebook. Well, and I mean, when you're dealing with something, it's easier to put a name. And I don't blame this person for being anonymous. I really don't. Because it's such a sensitive issue. At the end of the day, the only thing all of us, whether it's city council, whether it's fire department, whether it's retired members like me, whether it's current volunteers, all we care about in the end of the day is helping our residents and those in need. And I'm confident that everything else can be worked out as long as we keep that focus. But when you're dealing with that sensitive a topic, we've had some squad members show up to council meetings very passionate about this subject. We've had some residents call each of us on council through the years very passionate about this issue. So, I don't blame this person for being anonymous. I'm not an anonymous person. I'm a butthole. I'm right there. But I'm an honest butthole. I try to be a lovable one, though.
Well, I mean, you are the vice mayor. You're the one that we'd want to ask these questions, too.
Yeah. But that's one that we probably should devote a full episode to. Not that we're brushing it off. And hopefully by the time we do a full episode on that, we'll have more of an answer of what we're looking at down the road. As far as what the future holds, not just for the rescue squad, but for EMS in the city of Covington itself. Because, we've got an issue here in Covington where we had to put paid people in. But that is not a exclusive issue in Alleghany County. Everywhere, all the county departments, you've got all of us who are dealing with staffing issues. And some of this, I'll put the blame on the state of Virginia. I am confident that the state of Virginia is trying to work the volunteers out of the volunteer service. They're making requirements a lot harder. You get somebody like me, and I'll be very honest, I'm almost 43 years old. I've got kids, a wife.
I thought you were 25.
Well, I'm breaking the barrier.
Oh, okay.
I'll break that barrier this one time and admit that I'm almost 43, with kids, family, several jobs. And if I had to go back and take the same EMS now, to get your EMT is a lot stricter than it was 15 years ago when I did it. Just for me to go back and do by those regulations, I couldn't do it. The only reason I pulled it off then was because I was single, and, the late Horton Byrne, God rest his soul, was very supportive of me doing it. And I had the time to put into it. It's very difficult the way the state has it structured now if you have any type of responsibilities whatsoever to do the classes. Luckily, through Dabney, you can get your EMS classes now. And I think you can go all the way from basic all the way to paramedic at Dabney. And Jen Mann, if you're listening to this and I'm wrong on that, please let me know. My sister Jen Mann, she is the EMS coordinator at Dabney. But Dabney is wonderful with doing the training, but there's a lot to it. And that, I think, is one of the reasons you can't get a lot of people out anymore to be a certified fireman. It takes a lot of work. And if you work shift work or if you have families, it's hard to get everything in that you need in. So that's one of the big, hurdles that we're overcoming now, and that's the big hurdle that the volunteers are trying to overcome. You take in a volunteer, say you, for example, Adam, you put in your application for the squad, you get in tonight. You're still looking at 6 to 9 months before you're turned loose, depending on how long the EMT class is and the checking off period and getting signed off by the medical director and all that. I mean, you're looking at a 6 to 9 month process. Same way with being a certified fireman anywhere in Virginia. You're looking at a long time by the time you take somebody in until you can turn them loose to be a sole provider. And
now maybe you can enlighten us a little bit to those that, like, especially myself. I mean, I don't know a whole much about EMS or anything like that, or how a station works or operates. So someone like myself that's, maybe doing the show, but a listener that's just like myself that doesn't have a background about this information. Does every squad have different code, different operations?
Typically, as far as the medical side of it, not the fire side of it. Because I'll tell you, when I got in the fire department, it was the only reason why I got in the fire department is Horton Byrne, when I was a reporter, sent me to meet with Wes Walker, who was the chief at the time at the Covington Fire Department. They were doing a recruitment drive. I had never given. Of course, once again, I was single and just doing the single bachelor life thing. We cannot talk about that on the air, unfortunately, but I think that might get me gigged by the boss. But no, in all reality, I talked to Wes, and something hit me and said, why don't you try this? I had no clue what I was getting into. That is a little different than the medical side. The medical side of it is pretty much if you're within this medical region. The state's divided into 6, 7 different medical regions. And they operate under what they call an OMD, an operational medical director, who signs off, and basically you're providing medical treatment under that OMD's doctor's license. He or she signs off on you, and you go provide in his or her name. Basically, the protocol is the same across the board medically. So, say you became an EMT here in Covington, and you moved out to Dunlap area, out in Callahan. You could basically, outside of a couple of departmental changes and rules as far as the department to provide medical care, you could basically do the same thing wherever you live. Same thing with the fire side on that respect, that once you get your firefighter certification, you can pretty well be a provider in any county department. And I'll say this now, I wish I could do the active stuff like I did. Man, I miss that. Situation was, I can't, but I wouldn't trade my fire time or my EMS time for anything. Some of the best, I've been in public service, community service, whatever you want to call it, since I was 15. Of all the things I've ever done, fire and rescue ranks right up there with the best I've ever done.
You're listening to Mail Time right now, the first installment of Mail Time, and I want to thank all of those that have sent us emails and messages. That is through messages. Thank you.
You need a pot of coffee?
I'm good, thank you.
Messages.
Thank you, through our Facebook.
Now, if you want to send a message and you don't want it read, just let us know. We have no problem. Or if you just want it anonymous, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just want to hear from you. We don't know what to talk about. We don't know what issues you're thinking of unless you tell us. So feel free, send us a message. Or if you want to send a snail mail,
yep,
you can do that. P.O. Box 271, Covington, Virginia 24426, and make that attention to me. And, there's several ways to contact us.
There's also the email address, which is what again?
I'm trying to take a puff of a smoke over here, and you want that darned email address.
Website
at thevirginianreview.com.
Email us there, as well as sending us a message on Messenger on Facebook. So there's a whole bunch of different ways where you can send us emails, comments, whatever you like, or even send us possible topic ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a few of these emails that included some potential topic ideas.
You want to tell me what they are?
No.
Oh.
I like to give you an idea because, again, if you're new to this podcast, you have to know that Crosier has no idea what the main event topic is going to be. It's a way to throw him off guard, and it's a way to get an actual straight shoot answer, and he likes to straight shoot.
Oh, yeah. My Mama Crosier doesn't like it when I straight shoot.
You straight shoot at board meetings and council meetings, don't you? I
Yeah.
hear stories.
Huh?
I hear stories.
I bet you do. That I'm probably the most gavelled city councilman ever in the history of city council. I actually got moved to sit beside the mayor so he could get a better hand on me.
Well, I think you shouldn't you be sitting next to the mayor?
I sit wherever.
Oh, okay.
I got a big enough voice. I don't need a microphone or anything else. I can be heard.
Yeah, that's a fact. I
can be heard. Yeah, when the wife and I are sitting on the front porch there at the Castle Crosier over on Lee Street at night, time is insignificant to me. You know, I might be up until 4 or 5 in the morning, get back up at 7, and here I go. And so I'll start texting people at 2 in the morning and think, maybe I shouldn't do that. They might be in bed. But my voice apparently carries. So
you know when I don't text you is between the hours of 7 and 8:30. There's a reason for that because you told me don't text you at 7 between 7 and 8:30.
Remind me. Refresh my memory.
That's the first time I met you.
Dude, I can't remember what we talked about last week.
The Kmart building.
Oh, okay. Between 7 and 8:30. Refresh my memory.
Just don't text me between 7 and 8:30 because I'm probably in bed still.
Oh, in the morning?
Yeah, not at night. Not at
night.
night.
At night. I thought, well, Lord, 7 and 8:30. Heck, half the time I'm here.
No, in the morning.
Half the time I'm in the jungle room.
That's why I was shocked when you were...
When the time changes, I don't ever get out of here before dark.
Yeah, because usually you're in your truck in Bertha. Is that her name?
Bertha.
Or Martha?
Blue Bertha.
Blue Bertha. I remember you, the first time meeting you, you were just getting in the truck and saying, I was just able to hear Corny Joke Tuesday.
That was when I was taking the daughter to Judah Watson. And just at the time that I was traveling to take her to school,
you heard Corny Joke Tuesday.
Crappy Joke Tuesday would come on. And thank God she left Judah Watson and went to the high school, so I didn't have to listen to Crappy Joke Tuesday anymore.
Oh my gosh. It wasn't that bad.
It was that bad.
It was good.
It was that bad.
It was Corny Joke Tuesday.
Brother, I would do anything for you. I'd walk through hell in a gasoline suit for you, but that was bad.
I agree to one thing is I would not bring Corny Joke Tuesday to Breaking the Barrier.
No, you better not.
It's the one thing I won't do.
I can tick people off enough. We don't need that.
Now, you mentioned this earlier. The Virginia Review celebrated their 104th birthday last Friday.
Yes.
Maybe you could tell us a brief history about the Virginia Review and the combination of two different papers that merges together back in the late 80s?
Well, let me give you the brief Cliff Notes history of it, because we've got such a rich history. And if you've ever gotten a time, we've got books in what we call the morgue, off of the newsroom. Those of you in the business will know what it means by the morgue. From 1920 all the way up to yesterday's paper. And one of the things I'm proud to say that I do every edition, and usually I don't care if anybody knows what I do. You know, as long as it gets done, as long as people enjoy it, my job is finished. But I love doing echoes of the past, and I love pouring through those old books. That gives me a chance to indulge my guilty pleasure, is reading those old stories. I could go back with one book alone and spend all afternoon. Newspaper was founded, and the first edition rolled off the press August 10th, 1914. Horton Byrne, who a lot of you listening to this will remember Horton, his grandfather had purchased the Covington Dispatch January 1st of that year. Rolled off. It was the first daily newspaper in Covington. The Clifton Forge had the Daily Review. I think that was in operation before us. Operated as two different newspapers until 1988, when Clifton Forge paper was not doing well, struggling, and the Byrne family, Covington Virginian Incorporated, purchased the Daily Review. And so the name you see today, Virginian Review, is we call it portmanteau of the two names, Covington Virginian and Daily Review. Took the last names of both and made them into one. This is actually the third, where we're at on Maple Avenue, is the third location. We started out on the corner of what is now Main and Monroe. It was a dress shop right across from the post office. The radio station started there. Actually, if you come out of the post office and look on one of the upper levels, you can actually see WKY printed still on the window from when they were there. And I think they formed like 1942, something in that respect. Moved from there around the corner to Monroe Avenue. It's a parking lot now, pretty much where the farmers market in that area is. KFC was on the corner where the farmers market is, and if you look at the empty lot next door, that was where the newspaper was. We moved here, purchased this building.
Just the old IGA building?
It was Kroger.
Kroger.
It was built in this building was built in 1949 for Kroger. And Kroger moved to where they were on Craig Avenue, 1977, I believe, and Mickermack IGA came here until 92, something like that. The newspaper bought this building in December of 92, refurbished it, renovated it. The newspaper started moving in here in August of 93. So a month before I was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, a month before I was born.
A month before he was born, because he's 25.
Yeah. So it's kind of a 2 anniversary deal. We're celebrating 25 years in this building.
And 25 years of David Crosier.
25 years of me. And 140 years of the newspaper. So we had a little piece in the paper Saturday.
And if you did not get that copy of the paper, subscribe today to thevirginianreview.com, and you can get all the papers from the past, present, and future.
But yeah, we've got such a history in the community. Great Depressions, World Wars, you name it. Changes in readership habits, you name it. Changes that have occurred in this country, we've been here through it. So I'm proud of the fact to say that for 20 years of that, I've been able to be a part of it. And since you're going to be here for 20, 30 years...
Crickets. You hear those crickets?
You don't even think 30 minutes ahead, do you?
No.
Oh, you're thinking about, man, what am I going to eat for dinner?
No, I have a corn dog waiting for me.
Oh, good God.
Corn dog and a cinnamon bun.
Oh, my word.
That's my meal of the night.
Oh, my Lanta. Roll on.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, rock on.
I think we've kept them waiting long enough.
Yeah.
I think I've kept you waiting long enough.
Yes, I'm waiting with bated breath.
The main event.
The main event.
The creme de la creme.
The creme de la creme.
Of podcasts.
Yes.
The main event topic of the week, and again, if you're just tuning into our second installment of Breaking the Barrier and you have not listened to the preview or the first Breaking the Barrier episode, every week is going to be a special main event. One topic that David Crosier does not have a clue about. He doesn't know what the topic's going to be. It's just for him to straight shoot what I'm going to talk about.
Let's do it.
The main event of this week is Schaefer Rolls Incorporated.
Schaefer Rolls, okay.
It was announced in June that the company will be investing $12 million in a new facility in Covington. This investment will create 31 new jobs. Now, Schaefer Rolls Incorporated is a New Hampshire-based producer. How did the city of Covington come to getting them in here?
A lot of the credit can come from two areas. First of all, West Rock. This was a company that West Rock, and I'm nothing close to an engineer, but Schaefer Rolls was one of the companies they dealt with.
Now, before you continue, maybe you can explain to those that do not know what Schaefer Rolls is. What do they produce?
For what they're doing with West Rock, and this is where my knowledge is semi-literate, their rolls, and I'm going to try to put this in layman's terms, they got big rolls over there that they roll the paper on. Those rolls have to be taken off, turned, calibrated, those type of things periodically. Up until this bunch came in, Westrock was having to ship those rolls somewhere. South Carolina, I think, or New Hampshire. They were having to ship them out of here to get them done. Now, Westrock is not the only company that Schaefer Rolls is going to be dealing with. And you say 31 jobs, we're not talking about low-paying minimum wage jobs. These are higher-paying jobs.
Right.
That, you've got to have skills much higher than I will ever have and you're going to go and you're going to start making some good money with these people. But, when Westrock put, once again, I'm going to plug the Alleghany Highlands EDC. EDC got involved. Marla Acreage and her bunch at the EDC got involved. Worked with not only Westrock, worked with Schaefer Rolls to, make this happen. So it was a lot of, and once again, I said it last week, I'll say it this week, and I'll say it over and over and over. Nothing happens by yourself.
Right. Nothing happens overnight.
No, nothing happens overnight. Nothing happens alone. Nothing like this happens by just one person or one group or one company. There's a lot of different moving parts with it.
And Westrock, you said?
Westrock was a big player in that. EDC's a big player in that. City of Covington is a player in that. We're working our staff with the city, and I can't say we because that would be unfair to say we. Richard Douglas, B.B. Bryant, Eric Tyree, bunch of people with the city are working with the EDC, working with Westrock, working with Schaefer Rolls. So all this is coming together with a lot of different hands in it. And I can't take any of the credit for it. All I did was sit back, and when it came time to look at some economic incentives, I cast a vote to do it. Because it's an investment well spent. But, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that you may never see. But some people, and I wish people would get a chance to meet Marla and Terry at the EDC. They're a hoot. I love them to death. But some of these people behind the scenes, you may not ever see. You might hear my big mouth, or you might see me or Mayor Seibold or somebody on council, or if it deals with the county, somebody on the board, you might see those faces. But there's so many people involved behind the scenes in a lot of what we're doing. Schaefer Rolls was a big win for us. It came down between us and I think South Carolina to get this plant. The past governor, Terry McAuliffe, he was involved. And when you get the governor involved, you start getting some wheels moving then. So, once again, that was another player in this whole thing of getting done.
And it's not just the City of Covington. City of Covington's just...
The City of Covington's where it's being housed.
Right.
But you're going to get people from all over Alleghany County able to go and work. And one of the things they're going to do, once again, another hand in the mix, Dabney. John Ranoni, president of Dabney College. Wonderful fella. He's a Yankee, too. You'd probably like him. He's a Patriots fan, though.
I'm not a Patriots fan.
I thought everybody in New England had to be a Patriots fan.
No, you can either be... Well, most people are New England Patriots, New York Giants, Jets, Buffalo Bills.
I thought it was like the law that y'all had to be Patriots fans.
No.
Oh, okay. Well...
You have to be a Yankees or Red Sox fan, though.
Anyway, I'm not going down.
Hey, Charlotte Flair was wearing a Yankees jersey the other day. That's a wrestling term. Charlotte Flair.
It is.
Daughter of
the Nature Boy,
Ric Flair, 16-time world champion.
Greatest wrestler of all time.
Now we're getting off subject.
Yes,
Schaefer Rolls.
Schaefer Rolls. You can get us talking about wrestling, and we could do
a whole podcast about wrestling.
We could do 3 parts of a podcast on that. But no, so John is a huge proponent of workforce development. So, there's going to be workforce development for people who want to get involved with Schaefer Rolls. So you're going to be able to go work through the college, get some education, get some workforce training, and get a chance to be a part of Schaefer Rolls. So once again, another hand reaching in to help make this thing possible.
Now this is going to be taking place over at the Rail Over on River.
Rail Over River.
Rail Over River Industrial Park.
For those of you with some age, it was the Industrial Rayon. Then it became Hercules, then AET, and now Rail Over River. It's over in South Covington.
And that's across from AET? Jackson River
Sports Complex.
Excuse me, Jackson River Sports Complex.
You don't want to make Alan Dressler mad with that. I have done that by calling it AET Park or Hercules Park.
That's because I hear so many people refer to it as AET and not Jackson River.
Because all of us are dinosaurs that do that. It's hard to change when we know something.
And then I get corrected if I say Jackson River and they're, what? It's at Jackson River. The AET. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh yeah, I know.
And it's ironic. They made that announcement in June, and almost 90 years to the day that announcement was made. The announcement was made that the original Industrial Rayon Corporation was coming to Covington. And I just thought that, being a history buff, local history buff, I thought that was just a really ironic and really neat relationship. Industrial Rayon coming, all the house you live in, the house I live in, most of the houses down through the Jackson Street area were built for the Industrial Rayon. But that was a huge deal in 1928, them coming, because that was farmland up until that point. So that was a huge deal, and then 90 years almost to the day later, another big announcement, another win. And I know there's somebody out there saying, well, it's only 31 jobs. Well, it's 31 more jobs than we had to start with.
You also clarified that those jobs are for higher.
Well, yeah,
level.
I'm sorry, but I have a hard time believing that the days of us getting an industry with 1,000 jobs is ever going to happen again. Nobody gets that anymore. Unless you've got a lot of land, a lot of prefabricated buildings that somebody can come into. In an area like ours, we're going to have to go after these 30, 40, 50 job, higher paying jobs and get them in here separately. I mean, we're not going to attract, and there's some people, when I got on council in 2012, the line I heard from elected officials, both on city council and in the county and in Clifton, the overwhelming comment I heard was, well, if it's under 750 jobs, we don't want it. And in the words of Mama Crosier, that's the damn dumbest thing I ever heard. Sorry, but when somebody needs a job, those 31 jobs mean something.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is a huge, I cannot say enough, this is the first of many huge wins that we're going to have in this area. It took time. We had to get the right people in place. We had to get somebody like Marla and Terry at the EDC. We had to get somebody like Renoni at the college, and people in elected positions that understand the idea of economic incentives and doing what it takes without breaking the bank. I mean, you can't just,
Well, rumor and innuendo is that the city of Covington is providing over $100,000 to this.
$100,000.
$100,000.
And that's public record. I mean, that was a public vote. Once the announcement was made, I'm allowed to say that. One of the few times that I was quiet. And one thing I didn't understand when I got into the elected official part of it is sometimes you got to keep your mouth shut. Do you know how hard that is for me? I mean, because they were talking about Schaefer Rolls for several months. And these things don't happen. Okay, they're coming. You don't call a company like Schaefer Rolls and say, hey, come on in, and then the next day they come in. There was a lot of months of work that the people involved put into this. But I had to be quiet. I could not say anything, and that's hard. That's hard for me. Because I was ready to shout it. I mean, we had this company that was looking very strongly at us, and I was ready to shout it. But I had to temper that. So, yeah, it looks like sometimes that EDC, elected officials, what have you, aren't doing anything. There's a lot of things we can't tell you about. Because the companies that are coming in, until they get X, Y, and Z legalized, all the T's crossed and the I's dotted and all that, they don't want anybody to know. Legally, sometimes they can't let you know. And that's one of the hardest things to get through people's heads, and some people you'll never get it through their heads.
Now, the construction is currently ongoing, correct?
They're doing work over there, and I'm probably going to get this time frame wrong, but I think they said 36 months to get everything completely up. And I'm sure Terry listening to this, if I get that wrong, Terry, let me know.
And the available positions: engineers, machinists, mechanics, and grinder men.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be the positions available of those 31 new jobs.
Right. And first thing I thought was, Jesus God, 36 months. From what I'm told with people who do this stuff for a living, that's a really good turnaround.
It's only a year and 12 months.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a year and 12 months. That's 3 years.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
A year and 12 months. Now, my math is abysmal. But even I had a red flag on that.
I hope you know I'm cutting this.
Please don't.
I'm deleting this from it.
Please don't. But there's so much going on there. And that's not the only thing going on at Rail Over River. We've got some other companies looking to come in. The folks that own, the Garten family that owns Rail Over River, doing a great job marketing that facility, having people come in and look. There are a lot of people, believe it or not, there are a lot of people in and out of the city of Covington all the time looking at different things that you don't know about. It's kind of like the movie Men in Black. The movie Men in Black, they were everywhere,
right,
but they were nowhere. And that's kind of economic development at times. It's, I'll get a text or something that said, oh, we had this meeting with this person and this person. They were in town and, they were here and gone, looked at stuff, and you never know it. So, there's a lot of activity going on that, I'm excited about.
And it should be. I mean, this is a big deal for the city of Covington, bringing in Schaefer Rolls Incorporated.
And that's why I want to give the kudos where I can to West Rock.
Because it was a project. It was a group effort.
It was a group project. West Rock sometimes doesn't get the positive media they deserve. They deserve it on this one. They were a big player. The EDC, one of the best kept secrets in the Alleghany Highlands. And hopefully through this and stories we run in the paper, we can educate people more on what the EDC does.
Now, how long did it take for this to come about?
Oh, goodness.
How long did it take before Schaefer Rolls agreed or accepted coming here to Covington?
Lord. When it first initially started, you're probably looking at a year and a half.
Okay.
I mean,
so it takes that long for them to look at the facility, look at the city.
Yeah, when you're dealing with companies with that kind of high finance, they don't knee-jerk anything. And everything has got to be crossed and dotted, and legwork has to be done, and they have to do their market research, and a lot of that stuff you can't do overnight. And you shouldn't. If I heard that there was a fly-by-night company coming in tomorrow that looked at the property today, I kind of wonder. Because there's a lot, and once again, being on council has been the best education I've ever had. And I finally had to learn that I'm smart enough to know that I'm not smart enough to know anything. It's always an education. This economic development thing is a constant education for me. And I'm sure Marla and Terry all the time when I have some kind of stupid comment or, say something off the wall, they just kind of shake their head because there's a lot of things I still don't get. But they teach me. And, I was one of those who thought that somebody came in and looked at the building across the street and decided, and they started moving in the next day. It don't happen. Like I say, it was probably a good year and a half, if not more, that the Schaefer Rolls deal has been discussed, and meetings, and countless emails and calls, and because when you got that many people working on it, there's so many things that you got to put in place that it takes a while to get all that done. Once again, I can't talk about that because of the fact that sometimes it's a legal thing. Legally, there are times that things we discuss in a closed session at council, I can't even go tell the wife. And the wife I sound everything off of, because she's one of the ones that pulls me down every time that I start getting a little too headstrong. But there are things that I can't even talk about with her. These are those type of things. Because it's a legal thing, and sometimes B, it'll kill the whole deal.
Right, because if word gets out that, hey, Group A's coming here, they're going to back out.
Had one of these fly-by-night Facebook medias we have around here gotten a hold of the Schaefer Rolls deal information beforehand and put it out there, I can guarantee you we'd have lost the deal. Do you know how hard it was for me not to want to write a story and scoop everybody?
Oh, I'm sure it was.
It was. I mean, even, on a business end, I wanted to scoop everybody. On a political end, I wanted to scream it that something was coming in, just to shut people up, if nothing else.
Oh, yeah, because, once word gets out that something's coming, they're going to want to know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And rumor innuendo comes out, like Target's coming,
oh,
or
my gosh.
Big Lots.
Rumor and innuendo is one of the things that is the hardest to overcome. But it's worth it. When you get a win like the Schaefer Rolls thing, even though I'm so far down on the pecking order of this win, I consider it a win because it was a team effort from the city, Dabney, EDC, West Rock, all kinds of people. And I'm probably leaving out somebody, and if I am, I'm sorry. But there were so many people involved. And to be successful, you have to do that. The county can't be just Alleghany County anymore. Covington can definitely not be just Covington, and Clifton the same way, in Iron Gate. Yeah, we've all got our individual identities and districts and all that kind of stuff, and we can stay separate, but when it comes down to stuff like this, it has to be a joint effort. A lot of people have to be at the table to make something like this happen.
Well, folks, we hope you have been listening and enjoying the main event.
And I need to give one more shout out. Got an email on my personal Facebook message from Jen and Catherine Dillon. Dear friends of mine, and they said I could say this. They are my favorite lesbians. I told them, I said, I'm going to give you a shout out because I believe in inclusivity, or whatever that word is, inclusiveness for everybody. I don't buy, I am who I am. They are so wonderful. They're wonderful people, and they when people like Terry and some of those had sent messages last week. Jen and Catherine both sent me messages through Facebook on my private account, talking about how much they enjoyed it. We love that. If you enjoy it, tell us. If you don't enjoy it, tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only way we're going to
ever make it, tell us.
Yeah. The only way we're going to make it any better, the only way we're going to get a show that people want to hear, is you tell us.
I mean, I know there was one person, I don't mention names, there was one person that said they tuned us in for 10 seconds, shut us off. This isn't going to be for everybody. And that's okay.
Well, it's like I said before, the Virginia Review has so many different things, you're bound to like one of them.
I mean, I'm not heartbroken if someone doesn't like it.
I'm only going to get 8 hours sleep tonight worrying about it.
I'll probably get 4.
Oh, okay.
Worrying about it.
Oh, not worrying about it? Yeah, I'll worry so much, I don't worry about stuff
I'm still going to enjoy what I do doing this podcast.
Oh, yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, if for every one person who says that, if we get one person who says they enjoyed it,
then we're winning. We're winning if we get one person.
Yeah, and we got 1,200 views, and I think that's perfect. I mean, that's wonderful.
1,200 unique views.
Oh, let's not start that again. But no, I mean, I am proud of what we're doing. I'm proud of the fact that it took you 1.5 years to finally get through to me.
I'm proud that you finally cracked through, that I got through the cracks.
Hey, the crack ain't that big yet.
I mean, you got more cracks than holes in those underwear.
On that happy note, talking about my crack, I think it's time to sign off, Adam.
We hope you enjoyed listening to the main event of this week, and we hope you enjoyed listening to us throughout episode 2 of Breaking the Barrier. I'm Adam Benz for David Crosier. We're about to sign off. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we hope to have you tune in once more next week on episode 3.
Rock on.